up, y'all? Welcome back to Steel City Sagas here at Hot Mic Sports, where we keep the mic hot and home of the hot takes. And today, y'all, I'm disappointed. I'm not even mad anymore. I'm not angry or anything. I'm disappointed. Losing 31-28 to the Chicago Bears. Now, don't get me wrong. Chicago Bears are no slouch. They're division leaders. They're now 8-3 after beating us. And I knew this was a threat coming into the game, going into Soldier Field, no Aaron Rodgers. I knew we were going to need Aaron Rodgers today because he's 24-5 against the Bears. Like he says, I own you. He owns that franchise. And I know he was out today with a wrist injury. Questionable all the way up until today, but after hearing Tomlin say he knew for 2 days he wasn't going to play, I felt like we should have been way more prepared. Mason Rudolph took all the snaps all week. This is what Coach Tomlin said. He was preparing to be the starter going into the game. And you know with Mason Rudolph, what you're going to get. Either you're going to get a really good game or you can get a really bad game, but by now, we should get some kind of consistency. Study the other team tendencies. Know what to expect going into this game. Knowing that they are number one in 50-50 ball interceptions. Going out on the first sequence of the game and throwing a 50-50 ball for an interception really made me mad. Because how do I know that as a fan and you're the starting quarterback? You should have knew that way better than me. I knew with their starting 3 linebackers out, we should have had a decent running game. And believe it or not, today, I was proud. As a Steelers fan, we got back to the ground and pound. We put up 160 yards on the ground. Okay? Gainwell showed up. Warren showed up. We had a decent game plan on offensive side of the ball. However, we are not throwing the ball up the middle of the field. And I don't know about y'all, but if you're a Steelers fan and you're watching the Steelers play, aren't you getting tired of just watching DK Metcalf run the same route up the middle of the field? The same drag route? Aren't you getting tired of that? I know I am, because now I can see it coming. So I know the other team knows that's the only way that we seem to be able to get DK open. He makes a play every once in a while, but is he really worth the $150 million that we're paying him? Is he really worth it? Is it because that none of our other receivers seem to be able to step up? Here we are, another week without a 100-yard receiver. DK being included, even though he left the game with an injury. Another week without a 100-yard receiver. What are we doing? We are known to keep good receivers in the Tomlin era. Mike Tomlin has done nothing but kept a great wide receiver on the roster. And I will say this as a Steelers fan, I am sick right now. I am sick right now watching George Pickens with the Dallas Cowboys lighten it up. He has more yards receiving this season than our whole wide receiver core. Let me say that again. George Pickens has more receiving yards than all of our wide receivers put together. And we let him go. For whatever the reason, we let him go. I was excited once we got DK Metcalf. I was like, hey, you know what? We pair him with George Pickens, we might have something. The next thing you know, we ship off George Pickens to Dallas. We give Dak Prescott another target besides CeeDee Lamb. And what do you know? George Pickens is balling this year. One of the top receivers in the league. Don't you think we could have used that in Pittsburgh this year? With the aging quarterback, with the inconsistent running game, with DK Metcalf on the other side of the field? What are we doing? None of the receivers are threats. We're now 5-4. Baltimore is creeping up on us. They've won 5 straight. And you know, as a Steelers fan, that hurts me to my heart. It hurts me to my heart that we can start 4-1. And now we're looking like we're going to miss the playoffs for the first season in the Mike Tomlin era. Yeah, we're on pace for the standard. We could finish the season with 500. But aren't you tired of that? I'm tired of it. TJ Watt, our aging defense. What are we at? Slade's washed. Jalen Ramsey's up and down, but he's playing pretty good for a Pittsburgh Steeler. TJ Watt, 1 sack. The only sack of the game. Let me repeat that. The only sack of the game came from TJ Watt. who's aging, who's on the other side of his prime. Caleb Williams threw for 3 touchdowns today. Where was our secondary? Who's stopping the pass? And I will say this now. Peyton Wilson is one highlight that I'm watching every week. Because since the Colts game, when he had 14 tackles, he has declined, but he's effective. He's out there. His thumbprint is on the game. He's flying all over the field. He's making key tackles on key plays. That's a highlight. But what's all the other highlights? Where's the other highlights of our defense that we pay all this money to? The highest paid defense in the NFL has allowed another 30-point game, y'all. And I know just last week I was talking about how our defense doesn't break and they don't fold, and it's only so much that they can do. Well, guess what? The offense put up 28 points today. And that should have been enough to win the game, to be honest, if we're playing Pittsburgh Steelers football. But we're not. We're trying to outscore the other teams. And as long as we keep trying to do that, we're not going to win nothing, because that is not Pittsburgh football. Mike Tomlin says the standard is the standard, but what is the standard anymore? Is it watching us blow games like this? Is it watching us squeak into the playoffs? Is it us finishing one game above 500? What is the standard? Because I'm still trying to figure it out. We need Aaron Rodgers back. Believe it or not, we do. We're going to need his leadership. We're going to need his experience to close the season out. Because it ain't getting no better from here, y'all. It ain't getting no better from here. We got Baltimore next, November 30th. Circle it. Mark your calendar. That's going to be a very important game, especially after this Baltimore and Cincinnati game on Thanksgiving, y'all. Baltimore is hot right now, and you know they're licking their chops waiting to play us because we're so up and down, we don't even know who we are. We're just trying to get by every game, it seems like. And since Ben Roethlisberger retired, we have looked this way. You don't know what you're going to get from week to week. What Steelers defense you know finished the game with 1 sack and 2 tackles for a loss, No turnovers. What Steelers defense do you know has done that? We lack wide receiver help. I keep saying it. We lack wide receiver help because I'm okay with having Aaron Rodgers if he has somebody to throw the ball to. Where was Freiermuth yesterday? Where was Darnell Washington? Where are our big play tight ends in a game like this when we need them? We allowed 3rd down conversions, 4th down conversions, and we couldn't even convert them. But we allowed the other team to. I don't know how to say this without sounding like everybody else, but the Mike Tomlin era is coming to an end, y'all. You may not believe it. You may not want to believe it. And you may say, well, hey, who are you going to get to coach your team? We don't know, do we? Because we have not ever taken the chance to see what coach we can get. We keep settling for this subpar football, y'all. It's subpar. I mean, come on. This is not the standard of Pittsburgh football that I've been accustomed to watching. Mike Tomlin has had plenty of help to win. We've had Le'Veon Bell when he was the best in the league. Antonio Brown when he was the best in the league. Ben Roethlisberger when he was a top 3 quarterback. And we didn't get it done. We lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars after having home field advantage with the best team we've ever had. And I knew if we couldn't win with that team, there's no way we're going to win with talent less than what we're used to. And there's no way that Pittsburgh Steelers fans can expect that either. Because when you're beating teams like the Patriots and the Colts, you say, hey, we got a chance. We may lose to the Scrubs or play down to their level, but as long as we can continue to beat division-winning teams, we have a chance. Well, guess what? We just lost to the Chicago Bears, a division-winning team. We had an opportunity this game to win this game and show our fans that the players are playing for Mike Tomlin, y'all. But they're not. They're not. This is the coaching staff that we have been accustomed to and had to settle for over the last few years. It was Matt Canada. Let's fire Matt Canada, excuse me. Let's fire Matt Canada. Well, he's gone. We look the same. We look the same. Even bringing a new OC in there, a lot of people were excited about. After having a power running back like Najee Harris, that we let go to the LA Chargers. They would say, hell, we bring in Aaron Rodgers, we get a big wide receiver. We should be doing something. And you're right, we should, but we're not. We look like the same offense, struggling. And I don't know what is going on, but why aren't we throwing the ball up the middle of the field? I don't know about y'all, but it seems to be on the outside of the numbers all the time. I don't know what y'all are seeing, but that's what I'm seeing. We haven't thrown the ball up the middle of the field since Russell Wilson or Calvin Austin on the inside post. That we don't even run that anymore. We're still doing the same thing, y'all. 2 tight end set, running backs, 1 big wide receiver. Wouldn't you have rather had George Pickens in a 2 wide receiver set with one of the tight ends that we have, because they're all monsters? I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see George Pickens, DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Warren. I would have loved to see that. Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington. But yet again, what do? We send off a good player. Because for whatever reason, we could not coach him. But he's over there in Dallas balling. Balling. So much that you got to worry about him every week. He's showing you the talent that we knew he had. And what do we get? Subpar wide receiver performances every week. Every week. Golly, what are we doing? If DK's not in the game, running his same old route, we're not going to have no receivers who can accumulate yards and be a serious threat to take the pressure off of the running game. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but when you grow up watching some of the great Pittsburgh Steelers teams being coached by Bill Cowher and the talent that we had accumulated over the years after drafting Ben Roethlisberger to what we are now, backpedaling to the playoffs, losing the division every year. We haven't won a division in God knows how long. We have, after yesterday, after seeing Shador coming in for the Cleveland Browns, and we passed on him with our 21st pick, this is what's happening to us as Steelers fans. We're not drafting right. We have the least amount of quarterback talent in the division, y'all. Yeah, I said it. Because Aaron Rodgers is not in his prime anymore. You wouldn't take him over a healthy Joe Burrow. You wouldn't take him over a healthy Lamar Jackson. And the way Shador Sanders is looking right now, hell, I would rather have Shador Sanders with our team right now, to be honest. At least we would have something to build on instead of being in the same position next year that we are this year and the year before that and the year before that. No consistent quarterback play. No future quarterback for the roster. A lot of our fans want to see Will Howard. Well, do you really want to see Will Howard? Under this coaching staff, do you want to see Will Howard not be able to throw the ball at the middle of the field? Would you want to see Will Howard? Because I want to see him. Yeah, we drafted him. I've wanted to see other quarterbacks in Pittsburgh uniforms that we haven't had either since Ben Roethlisberger retired. But we haven't had them. We're relying on the same old stuff that has not been working, y'all. And it's not going to work. I'm tired of getting on my podcast every time to talk about the Steelers, and I have nothing really great to say about them that I want to say. It's my team, y'all. I'm going to be diehard black and gold no matter what. But when you have 2 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, all right, no wide receivers over 100 yards every week, but you have an older quarterback who throws for 200 yards, an inconsistent running game, the highest paid defense in the NFL, the oldest defense in the NFL, and we're not getting no results that we're supposed to be getting. In whatever world you want to live in with the results that you think you get with that. This ain't Aaron Rodgers in his prime. All right? This is not our defense players in their prime. This is the result of a mishandled, poorly managed Pittsburgh Steelers franchise. And coming up on November 30th, when we play those Baltimore Ravens, the team that we usually get up for, we better come to play. Because if we do not, it is going to look like a repeat of last year's first-round playoff performance where they sent us home gladly. It was ugly. And you best believe if we come out and play like that on November 30th against the Ravens, there's going to be some changes made. There's going to be no more questioning or having to wonder. Because we see what we have under this coaching staff. We see what we have, y'all. I don't know if this is the new standard and what we are to expect or accept, I guess, as Pittsburgh Steelers fans. But if this is it, this ain't it. And it's finally time to stand up and say, hey, the standard is not this standard. The standard is Super Bowls, AFC championships, top-tier running backs, top-tier defense. That is the Pittsburgh standard. And we need to get back to the standard, y'all. This is Devin Hot Mike Sports. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Steel City Saga. I'll see y'all next time. Don't forget to join us. Follow, like, subscribe. I'll see you next time.